Thank you, Aliko Auntie. Hi, my name is Natraj, and today I'm going to be showing you a simple soup and a salad recipe. So first, I'm going to take care of the soup. Um, so what I'm using for the soup is called proso millet. The reason why I'm using proso millet is because when you cook it, it's very fluffy and it's very plump. And so for soups, I thought that this millet makes the most sense. So here I have a half cup. I finished soaking it and drying it, so I'm going to be adding that in later. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to turn on the stove. So basically, I'm going to be adding a little bit of safflower oil, but if you have canola oil, that works too. So I'm just going to be adding in about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon, and then I'm going to let that get up to speed. So while that's busy getting up to the heat, the other millets that I'm going to be using today for the salad, I'm going to be using 4 millets. Little millet, foxtail millet, sorghum millet, and barnyard millet. And later I'm going to be going over each of the individual textures, colors, and flavors that each of them bring, and why I decided to use all 4 as opposed to just one. So now that we have the oil up to speed, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add my basic ingredients to the soup. So I have onion here, and I'm going to add this is about a half an onion, half a small red onion. So I'm going to add that. And then the next thing that I'm going to add is I've chopped up 2 cloves of garlic and 1 teaspoon of grated ginger. So I'm going to add that now too. The next thing that I've done is I've taken about a small, very, very small carrot, and I've chopped that up, and I'm going to add that here too. So that consists of the very, very base ingredients that we're going to be using for the soup. Stir it. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a little bit of salt. And what that does is that draws the water out of the vegetables that I've just added, the onion and the carrot. And so what happens is that you develop a lot more flavor that way. So I'm just going to be cooking this over a medium heat. And I'm just going to let that soften a little bit for about 1 minute until you can see it shrink visibly. In the meanwhile, I'm going to be talking about the next ingredients that I have. So over here, I have tomato. I also chopped up a couple of green beans, about 3 medium green beans, and then I just split 1 green chili in half. So next what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding the green beans. The reason why I'm adding green beans a little bit later is because I've cut them very thinly, so they don't need too long to cook. I'm going to be adding the green chili now, and then finally the diced tomato. So now I'm just going to let this cook for about 1 minute or so. You don't need to cook it for too long because it is a soup. So at the end of the day, when you add in the liquid, it'll be cooking all of it together. So once you're done cooking that, what next you're going to be adding is about a half teaspoon of turmeric. So I'm going to be adding that in. Also, I got some curry powder from Trader Joe's, so I'm going to be adding that in too. And then finally, some cumin powder, about a half teaspoon as well. So for all the spices, just about a half teaspoon. And then next, I'm going to be cooking that for about 1 minute. And so the reason why I'm cooking it for 1 minute is so that I can get rid of the rawness and the taste of the spices, and so that I can bloom them. It's a technique called blooming, where basically you're expressing the true flavors of the spices by cooking them all the way. So now this is what the vegetables should look like a little bit after you're done adding the spices and everything. And then next, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be adding the millet. By the way, the millet is very, very easy to cook. Literally all you do, you just add it, mix it in, and then next what you're going to be doing, because I've used a half cup of frozen millet, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of water. So the ratio that I always use for millet is about 1 part millet, 2 parts water. So now that I've added the water, I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt, and then I'm just going to mix it. I'm gonna let this get up to the boil, and then I'll give the next instruction as to what we're going to be doing with this. As for the salad, so over here, I have a mix of the 4 millets that I was talking about before: sorghum, little, barnyard, and foxtail. And so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding this to a small pan. This, for about 2 servings of salad, comes up to be about 1/4 cup. So you can use any mix of millets that you want. It's just for 2 servings, make sure that it only makes up about 1/4. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it to the pan, just dry. I haven't soaked it or anything. The only millet that I've soaked is for the salad. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toast it in the pan, and what that does is it develops the nutty flavor. And then, so I'm just gonna let this sit on the side over here. Next, I'm going to get about a 1/2 cup of water. Because I've added 1/4 cup of mixed millets, I need 2 parts water. So once I'm done toasting this, you should hear it pop and crackle a little bit, which I did. So now I'm gonna add in the water. And so next we're gonna let this come up to the boil. And then I'm gonna be talking a little bit about that too. So this has now reached a rolling boil, so very soft boil. It's reached that rolling boil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it simmer, and then I'm gonna let it for it. And then usually now, what I would do is I would just let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how you would like your millet cooked. Usually I leave it in for about 17 to 18 minutes, so that's a middle between very soft and also a very kind of like an al dente kind of millet. So I'm just gonna put this on a simmer, and then I'm just gonna let this cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, thankfully, I already have that step done, so I'm going to get that here. But before I show you this, with the millet for the salad, the mix of the 4 millets that I used, I brought it up to a rolling boil, and then now I'm gonna put it on simmer, and then I'm just going to put a lid on it. But I already have the millet cooked, so I'm just gonna leave it to the side. Basically, the rule of thumb whenever you're cooking millets, just add in 1 part millet, 2 parts water, get it up to a rolling boil, put it down on simmer, and just forget about it for about 15 to 20 minutes until how you like it cooked. So that takes care of the salad. With the soup, with the millet for the soup, once that's completely cooked, it looks like this. So as you can see, very dry. Next, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing this up to the heat again. And so this, as you can see, is very dry because it's absorbed all of the water that I've given. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding more liquid to it, because if it's a soup, it needs liquid. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding about 3/4 cup of vegetable stock. So as you can see here, and then to top it all off, I'm going to be adding another 1/4 cup of water. So it's about 1 cup of added liquids to it all. So next, I'm going to be adding in the liquids. And then, so if you like it more watery, what you can do is you can add about a 1/2 cup more of liquids. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing this up to speed on heat. So as you can see here, you have the chili, the carrots, the millet, it's all cooked and everything. And so while this is heating up again, now I'm going to be bringing you over to the salad. So Here is the cooked millet, the 4 mixed millets that I used. So just to talk a little bit about the different kinds of millets that I used. With the little millet, what I really like about the little millet, especially about the barnyard millet too, is there's a very unique hearty texture to it. And so it gives you more of a bite that you're really looking for when you're having a salad. A lot of the times with salads, it's just completely just like really easy to chew on, and there's just no texture at all, but this gives you the texture. With the sorghum millet, the reason why I like the sorghum millet is because it gives a very unique color that I've never seen in any grain before. It has a very unique red and black color when you cook it, and so you see the little specks of it in the millet that you cook. The foxtail millet is very, very, very wholesome, and so again, it gives you that very hearty texture. So what I'm going to be doing now is I have some grated carrot and some cucumber, and I'm going to be adding that to the mix. And then next, what I'm going to be doing is I have some mint leaves that I've chopped, and I'm also going to be adding that. I have some diced onion, and I'm going to be adding that as well. I have some chopped kale, and so what I'm going to be doing with that is I'm just going to be adding it in like this. Sunflower seeds, I'm going to be adding in some of that as well.
This is super healthy, Natraj. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's the salad is very much based about healthy, fresh, like those kinds of ingredients. Here, I just soaked some dal and then I fried it later, so I'm going to be adding that as well. So that adds another crunchy texture to it. And then finally, we made some coriander tokta at home, but you can also buy that at Shasta Foods. I'm going to be adding that as kind of like a dressing almost. So I'm going to be adding that in as well. And then finally, I'm going to be mixing it all together. So it takes a little bit of time to be able to mix it all together before it starts looking like an actual coherent salad where you've mixed everything.
I'll take this salad over any day over the regular salad, Natraj. I can tell you that this looks like a wholesome, spicy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the problem with salads is that there's only one layer of flavor to it. It's just acidity and then maybe sometimes a little bit of spice. But with this salad, you have the coriander flavor, the mint flavor, the crunch. It has all of these elements which make it so good. So that's basically it for the salad. Now what I'm going to be doing is with the soup, I've brought it up to heat. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding kale. And so to the viewers at home, this might be looking like a lot of kale, but once it wilts down, you'll barely be able to see it. So I'm going to be adding that, and then I'm just going to let it wilt down significantly, and that'll take about a minute as well. So I'll leave that to the side. So basically, here you have the salad, and we can serve that in the bowl. And then for this soup, once you're done with this, you can put this off to the side, grab a bowl. And then you have a soup spoon. And that is a very, very simple soup and a salad.
That's right.
A completely beginner recipe. It's really easy for anybody to do.
Shasta Foods for a homely, healthy and wholesome experience.